Welcome to the Intelligent Document Processing Podcast. My name is Alain Veuve. I'm the founder and CEO of Parashift. And I have with me today Stéphane Journot. Our names basically would resemble that we could do this in French, but unfortunately...
It's going to be English.
It's going to be English, yes. I try to work on that. Stéphane, thanks you for coming here. Really cool to have you here. And spending some time at the Parashift office. Maybe introduce yourself. Who are you? Why are you here, basically?
Yeah, sure. My name is Stéphane. I live in Lausanne. I'm here today because we're heavily using your solution as part of our startup called Addmin. And what we do is essentially, in a few words, it's a document management system. And in short, we're fairly young. It's a 2 years company, almost. And the idea is we're sort of democratizing access to those new technologies for entrepreneurs, small companies, but also individuals. Mm-hmm. The idea is, helping people living better paperless. Mm-hmm.
When we actually first spoke, I was thinking through this whole idea of solving that mess with documents. Even I have at home with private documents. And you were saying, okay, that was our starting point. What is the vision behind that? Where are you going with Addmin?
Yeah, that's a good point. Those document itching, right? That's where the idea originated. So my partner and I, we really wanted to sort of bring those new technologies to individuals. Mm-hmm. At first, saying that we could find what OCR, what multi-tagging, and advanced sort of document organization could bring to the ones that I was part of using, Google Drive, Dropbox, and the likes. And in addition to this, there's some strong privacy concerns that touch people, and it's sometimes quite hard. But it's really something that we sort of embedded in our vision to say, okay, we bring that to SMEs, entrepreneurs, and individuals, but at the same time, we make sure that we ensure privacy.
Was that one of the main concerns from those early users and customers? So they're saying, we're sort of afraid that...
It's just that it shouldn't be a USP anymore from my perspective. It should be something that's done by design. Mm-hmm. This is really something that we wanted to ensure. Mm-hmm. And obviously you have people that really, don't really give much care about how their data is used, etc. But the problem is, or the challenge is, you always find people that are extremely sensitive, and the upside is for everyone. Yeah. So why not do it, by design, so to say?
Yeah, and I think it's the right thing to do. I was always intrigued by having an app that you can just take a photo, and then, in a first step, you just scan and forget. So it gets sorted somewhere, and you can just have a timeline of your document contacts. So that is getting very easy to search. And as I was thinking more and more into that topic, I realized it's something that, from an outside perspective, looks super easy to do. And the more you get into that, you realize, okay, this is a hell of a task. Actually, I was very... how should I say that? I was very convinced or excited about the energy you put into that topic. And now you're going away from B2C, if I understood, or not going away, but you added the B2B sector. So
more likely, yeah. We more added the B2B thanks to the maturity of our project, but obviously the B2C remains sort of, the origin of the project and our polar star, I would say, because this is a huge market. And we also saw, early on in the project that the consumers themselves really were not that educated. And so when I hear you, speaking about scan or, capture and forget, this is really where we have to go. Mm-hmm. So, and when it comes to capturing data, whether it's your insurance policies or your banking documents, the B2C is more like, I want this to be done for me, whereas in the B2B is more like, I really do have problematics, flows with my documents that I can solve super easily. So that's why we sort of not pivoted, but shifted and put more sort of focus on the B2B.
I was all thinking that it should work for my mom, who is in their 70s. So somebody who's totally not familiar with digital tools, and I showed sort of the idea to her, and she said, "Why should I do that?" And I was completely sort of depressed about this, because she said, "I have everything in my binders." And I said, "Yes, I consider this to be a problem." So how do you see is like the digital transformation? Is that something which comes with the youngers, that we want to have everything on our smartphone? And where do you see growth, and what's driving that? Because it's obviously a big topic.
Yes, absolutely. But I think problems are driving this, in a sense that whether it's in the consumer space or in the business space, the receptivity of such concepts of, digitized documents, etc., from my perspective and observations, come from pain points. So experiences, that companies or individuals had in the past. And, there's this epiphany moment where, but I could have this document like this.
Yeah.
I could capture with my mobile. I could access this in the train. I could do my paperwork there. I could open a Swiss quote account in the train. But I could have, and this is generally the epiphany moment. And it's also quite challenging for a company like ours, because we're specifically, targeting sort of, again, the consumers and smaller companies. Who don't necessarily have this type of education. So the first step for me is not to explain my product, but better understand their situation and then come to the product.
All right, that sounds good. And how is it going? How is it going in terms of growth, and in terms of which stage are you in right now?
We're currently reaching that product market fit with the B2B. Yeah. We also have a strong sort of open SaaS and API based vision, which we've been sort of building up since, I would say, the past 6-9 months. And it's taking time. I'm not a developer myself, so I'm getting used to how IT development works. But it's good. It's good, and it's super fulfilling, because the same way reaching B2C and answering these B2C needs was insanely satisfying. For me, going now and meeting with companies that really never had the chance to access those types of technologies and sort of, guide them into adopting those new tools is super exciting. Oh. And there's, 99.4% of companies in Switzerland have less than 100 employees, so we have enough work.
There's like a giant market to actually get into that.
We're super agnostic in terms of industries. Obviously, some types of companies and industries respond better than others, but we're, I guess, some sort of visionaries on that stand, and I am a true believer in the fact that we'll forget about A4 papers, about PDF formats and stuff like this. Information is gonna get more and more digitized, and so we just have to find the ones today that need to move to that a bit early on.
I think clearly this is like stage 1 of the whole mission. I consider stage 2. Or I asking myself that stage 2 would be like, once you have the documents, you could set actions based on the information that's in the document. So what's your vision? Where do you take Addmin from there? So
I think I very much agree with what you're saying. Is step 1 is everything related to digital and cloud. Trying not to take shortcuts here, but in short, trying to understand or trying to make people understand that they can archive and organize online. And obviously, I think you're super right in the sense that we have to move away from that static image or that static PDF, OCR and selectable text as you sort of the first step. We have to move away from this and make sure that we can better understand or automatically understand the content and make decisions. I think, let's take an example we all know, tax declaration. I should provide my information and the tax should be done, right? And there are quite a lot of systems out there that are working on this, and I think it's only sort of the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you already have like questions, or did insurers and companies have to like approach you already? Because I was thinking, well, if you could actually aggregate a large amount of data in one sector, that sector would be highly interesting for industries. Let's say if I upload all my insurance policies into Addmin, you're basically, I mean, not you as a company, but the data is there. So basically, you could have a partnership with a insurance company that you're sort of selling leads, always with the if agreed by the client, but that could be a service. So that I can just upload my policies, and then I get renewal offers from a variety of insurance companies out there. Is that something you already try to tackle, or you get questions?
I think it's the underlying power of what we're building, but in the sense that we, again, by design, made sure that we have essentially, one database per user, and that we don't access it. It's completely separated from our application or the application itself. This is something that our system is meant to do. But obviously, not only are we not doing it right now, but obviously we have to, and this is a sensitive topic, we have to make sure that not only is the client educated, but understand what's going on. Meaning that, let's take a real estate owner, for example, a lot of paperwork, a lot of stuff to follow, a lot of stuff to organize. Obviously, there's ways, thanks to companies like yours, that, extract and understand the data. There are a lot of decisions that are not super high level that could be automated. And when it comes to, as you say, renewing contracts or based on existing contracts, what are the new contracts that, would make sense for me because maybe in the meantime I had a kid or I, moved away. And these are all data that can be aggregated and that should be used to make not only better decisions, but faster decisions and, less painful. I always say, I always use the sort of peace of mind type of concept.
Exactly.
It's just the moment, going back to your grandmother, the moment you centralize the information and let a system work at least as good as a human could, then you're taking away a lot of processes and a lot of sort of anxiety or pain points that comes from it.
There's a lot of fear of missing out as well with documents in binders, I realize. So fear of missing sort of deadline or a renewal point in time and these kind of things. So
absolutely,
it would be awesome just to have like a digital body that goes your back. So for all these things. So.
And it goes for everything really. You buy, the new Dyson for $1,000. It's super expensive. You get the warranty. Most of the time, people lose that warranty, and it
before
breaks,
they get home,
and it generally breaks, within 16 months out of an 18-month warranty. And so, obviously, if you don't have the warranty, there are situations like this you're obviously missing. So, again, it's about centralizing the information, the data, and make sure you have access to it all the time.
In the B2C sector, I always got the impression that it's sort of hard to get it sold because. I don't know why, to be frank, because I think it's you should make, I don't know about the exact numbers, but I had the impression that you should have like $10 or $20 a month in order to make it a really rocketing business model. And I got the impression that's hard. So what is your idea of actually, what's the business model around that for the future?
Yeah, and your question is on point for the future, because what we realized super early on in the project, so essentially the first 6 months, so we've been live for the B2C since beginning of the year. And part of the reason why we shifted to B2B is linked to the pain points, is as an individuals, we have, there's a bias between the age and adoption facility, because obviously, young people don't go to buy binders. It's just something that they really don't want to do. But at the same time, they don't really have problem with their paperwork. Whereas when and it's not, completely correlated, but the older you get, the more complex generally your paperwork becomes. And today the market, from our understanding, is not yet ready to pay just a store. So we have to find added value. Added value comes from the automation that we can bring to document. And this is today the clients that are heavily using our solution are, valuing this sort of instant approach to the document, the mobility as well. You mentioned mobile, even more than B2B. Mobile is something that is sort of super expected. And going forward for the future, obviously, it's linked to the additional services that we can provide. I think, minding the gap with insurances, banking and finance products, and tax declaration stuff like this.
In a way that it would be like free, a direct free service, but you would then recollect like concession fees from partners.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
I think we really have, so in terms of vision, and that's my vision, and we'll see how it evolves, but we really have to separate our platform and the tool and how it can be used, sort of really the binders that you have at home compared to the access and services that can be linked to it. So there's always going to be some sort of paying version of the platform itself. Because we can,
of course, for those that
exactly
do not want the partners.
Because we can bring value with this already a lot, but I think the sort of hidden part of the iceberg is definitely linked to ancillary services and stuff that we can provide.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be really the missing piece to actually solve it.
Absolutely. In the B2C space, yes.
In the B2C space.
Yeah, in the B2B, it's a lot more direct.
And then in the B2B, it's actually maybe I'm wrong, but I'm assuming it's exactly the other way around. So there's like, people are actually happy to buy or pay.
Yeah, we're too cheap actually to say that no, because we're young and we're still reaching product market fit, but we're slowly coming to a point where a solution, for a few $100 a year is worth what competitors do for thousands, really. Yeah. So we know there's a gap there. We're also trying to stay sort of humble with our own platform and trying to onboard and better understand our market. But in the B2B space, it's a lot more direct because you have volumes of documents. You spend much more time than in your private life to actually interact with documents independently from the position, really. And there is still, and that's the opportunity, there's still a lot of paper-based processes in Switzerland. Yeah. So when you can capture and digitize at the source of it, then obviously you're sort of solving very concrete pain points that are not necessarily linked to the data that you can extract from documents, but really like, I need to digitize, organize, distribute, and then, create my workflows of validation or whatever, really.
Interesting. Where are you heading with the B2B product? So what are the differences between B2B and B2C?
There's none. And that's the beauty of it. No, that's the beauty of it because, since the beginning, so our vision was really to bring these DMS technologies to individuals. And it wouldn't make sense for us to change. So the idea is really the advanced pro users on our platform today that are individuals, they're running their individual lives like companies, really. I know a lot of companies that are actually...
Well, that's interesting. But as from a user application and user organization model, what does that mean? That everybody has his own account?
Absolutely.
So if we were actually start a company together, I would have an admin account, you would have one, and then we would build a cert entity, or we would build an entity called XY company, and we would just be part of that.
We would be delegated to that account.
All right.
Yes, that's the idea. And the same way a wife and a husband can work on the same account, family account, with the kids, with different rights, because maybe they want their kids to digitize the mail because it's a fun thing to do. Then they give the right to scan, but not do anything else, really. And that's the same that you organize the access rights within a company.
All right. And so you're just building the company as like with the B2B account, and then there's or how does that work?
It works exactly the same way. The only difference is really when it comes to the folders creation. Because what we did, fairly early in the project was to make sure that we provide a guide for the folder structure. Because not only individuals, but now we're also seeing companies not necessarily understanding how to, tag and label their documents. So we provide a guide, and obviously, some type of documents are not super relevant in the, sort of consumer space, and vice versa.
Do you also provide compliance information about document types, such as this document type needs to be kept, in archives for 10 years and...
No, we know the information, and that's a good question, but we do not necessarily provide it. At this stage, we're trying to also better understand the legal framework, because we have the chance in Switzerland to have some sort of not gray zone, but it's a very fast and evolving legal framework. Whereas in other countries, it's very specific.
Sure.
For example, in France, it's quite specific. And on that front, we make sure that we provide a compliant tool. But when it comes to, you know, telling our clients what to do with their documents, it's something that we advise, but we do not guarantee, to say.
All right. Very interesting. We talked a lot about Switzerland. What are your plans for the future? I'm sure you do not want to stick to Switzerland, basically.
We want to stick to Switzerland, but we want to expand. That was from day one really the vision.
Okay.
That's actually what we did super early in the project, is to do some sort of A/B testing on acquisition, and the simple idea of having a powerful digital binder, you know, got us downloads in 80 plus countries. So this is really sort of a global need, and this is something that will follow. There are obviously countries where it makes more sense because of the process, because of the still very much living papers. But yes, now we're focusing more Switzerland and France to sort of better understand how to scale. But the solution itself is made to scale. We're a 100% cloud company, and even our architecture has been lately revised to make sure that we can get a lot of volumes.
Very cool. So do you already have a lot of customers from France?
It depends which customers. In terms of B2C, it's the biggest market we have. I don't know if it's linked to the fact that, you know, French people it's quite intense, the paperwork and administration. And in France, we also have this huge opportunity when it comes to our positioning, also in terms of pricing, with the compliance that we can add to the service. Because essentially you have to have a digital document archived and be able to literally get rid of the paper, of the original. You have to follow some certain rules and protocol to ensure integrity of the document, etc. And so the most of the systems out there are not providing these, and it's you know, for the smaller companies, it's a big opportunity we have. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Thank you very much for showing us.
Thank
Addmin.
you.
What really convinces me is the sort of drive you have for this company and this vision. And I saw some of your early numbers, and I was deeply impressed in how fast actually you were able to accumulate users on the account. And
we'll see how it goes. There is a lot of stuff we're working on. A lot is linked to what we're doing with you, and so
I heard about it.
With a couple hours that we spent together today with your team, I'm very much looking forward to where it's going.
Very cool.
Because it's bringing more advanced intelligence to document processing is needed.
Same here. Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Alain.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. Thank you.
You too.